we're going to use the Expresso Patronum die set from Pixi Dust Designs. I'm also using the Coordinating Magic World pattern paper. I'm going to show you a quick little look at the pattern paper. It has tone on tone. It has some great little patterns in it to go with the magic world. We're going to use the one with the little glasses. And I've already cut out my pattern paper. I cut it with 3 3/4 by 5. I'm going to use a top folding card base. I've cut out a matte layer from some smooth green cardstock from my stash. I'm going to layer those up together, and we're just going to add those. I'm going to add that to my top folding A2 card base. And yes, I did cut something else from it before. That's why we're using it as a matte layer, and I knew that it would fit. So we're going to go ahead and layer that on and make sure that's nice and lined up. I'm going to have this extra gold stitch oval from my stash that I used on another project from something. But we're also going to add that pattern paper to match our outside of our card onto the inside of our card with a little 1/2-inch strip. And I just added it to the right-hand side, and I'll press that into place. I'll cut off the excess later. We're going to work on our little coffee cup now. I've cut that out from just some cream-colored cardstock. I'm going to layer on top of the top of the coffee cup, and that is in a 3-part dice. It's 3 parts. So I'm going to layer on the first part of the cup. So you can layer it up and do some fun colors. I've seen some of the other design teams members do some fun colors on their tops. So that would be super fun. I'm going to add the third layer up onto the top of our little coffee mug to layer that up. And now we're going to work on the scarf. So I've cut the scarf out of 2 different colors cardstocks. I've done the base layer out of a reddish color and the overlay out of a goldish color cardstock. And that is 3 pieces, or 6 pieces technically. I've layered the base of the largest part together and the detail part. I'm going to layer the 2 detail parts for the smaller pieces, for the parts that you tuck under the scarf. I'm going to layer those up together. And I've just used liquid glue for that, tiny little dots. So we're going to add those layers in. I'm going to put a block on those to dry for a little while. Once my cup was dry, I pulled it back out, and I'm going to add the little lightning bolt to our little character mug. So I put that on that way and realized it was supposed to go the other way. I really guess it doesn't really matter, but to me it looked better that way. So I've added that on. I'm going to go ahead and add what I thought were eyebrows. And these are not the eyebrows. They are actually leftover pieces from the sentiment. So at the very end, you're going to see the eyebrows look completely different because I realized it. Anyway, the eyebrows are super expressive, so they add character to your card. So you can do like different facial expressions. I'm going to go ahead and add on my little glasses. So I'm just adding tiny little dots of liquid glue to the back of those. And I'm going to place that. Now, see that right hand arm of the glasses? I'm going to tuck it. I'm going to move them over and tuck that to slightly just behind the back of the coffee cup, so that it looks like it goes behind. I'm going to add a couple little dots of just liquid glue, put in the little eyes. So we're going to pop those in. I'm going to do the little mouth as well. I'm going to pop that into place. And then I'm going to, I think I set this, no, okay. We're going to work on the rest of the scarf. I'm going to build up those layers. I'm adding just tiny little dots of glue. And I'm going to pick the larger part up. This is what I found to be easiest. I'm going to poke that on one side because I wanted those to be tucked behind. And I wanted one to be kind of at an angle like it was really wrapped around his little coffee cup or his little character self. So I'm going to pop that on. I'm going to set that back to the side, let that dry. And we're going to work on our card base and the sentiment. So I'm going to add foam tape behind the stitch oval that I had from my stash. And I'm going to peel those off. Actually, I don't think I did yet. I'm going to work on my sentiment. Now I'm going to peel those off. And I started to do the sentiment one color and then decided I didn't like it. So I went and recut everything. So I'm going to go ahead and pop on my oval. That's going to be my home panel for my card, my focal image. I'm going to put on the bottom part of the sentiment, and I just line that up on my grid and use some repositionable tape to pull that out, pick it up all at once and add glue behind it. I'm going to rearrange my little espresso up at the top to where I want them to be arranged. And figure out the placement of each of those letters. Once I do, I will pick each individual letter up and add liquid glue behind it and pop it back into place. And I go through that whole little step with each of those little letters. Don't worry, I'm not going to make y'all sit through all that. So we're going to go ahead and add in our E right here. I like to start from the center and work my way around so everything's nice and even. And then once I will get all the way to the other side, I will be completely done. But everything should be spaced pretty close to right. We're going to add our last little letter on our O for our espresso. And I do like that color a lot better. You didn't see it in this video, but I cut it out from that same cardstock I used for the scarf. It didn't pop enough, so I went with black for more contrast. I'm going to add his little hand now to the back of our little character cup. We're going to add our little scarf, and I decided that he needed to be up just a little bit, so I'm adding just a little sliver of foam tape so that it was all sit nice and flush with the way I placed the scarf underneath the two little flaps. It kind of set up a little bit, needed a little foam tape back behind there. So I'm going to pop that into place, and then I'm going to add his little wand to his little hand. So we're going to add that on, and there is our little wand. Now I'm going to come in and add foam tape behind my little cup, and I'm going to cut those off. I added very teeny tiny slivers to behind the wand and his little arm, and I'm going to pick those off with the back of my little pokey tool, and I will peel those backings off, and I can add liquid glue behind it and get that ready to go, because we got to have some liquid glue to make sure I can get it into place right. So we're adding my character little cup right there. And then I'm going to come in and add some gel pen highlights to our little cup to bring our little character to life. I'm going to add some to his little scarf as well. I'm going to add some right down along the bottom. I kept it where the details or folds would be, where I added the scarf highlights on the scarf. I did add some to the top of the cup. I was going to do Stardust stickles and decided I wasn't going to, and then I decided yes I was. You can see now the eyebrows are a little bit different. I did have these heart embellishments on my desk, so I went ahead and added a few of those since we are in the Valentine's season. So I thought this would be a cute little Valentine's Day card for some coffee-loving magic friend. So we were going to add those little hearts. I added combination of 3 at the top, and I did 3 along the bottom close to the Patronum sentiment. So we're going to add those, and I pulled in the little container and popped on a couple more in those same color combos just to add a little bit more color to my card. But that's a finished look at the card. Here's a look at the inside. If you need any of the products, they're all linked and listed below. I'll see you in the next video. Bye guys, stay crafty, love you.